Going to get going on this second panel, folks. So maybe if you guys wouldn't mind picking up the conversation off to the side there, that would be great. Just before we start, I mentioned my colleagues that work in our offices here in the south of India, but I neglected to mention that we also have Canada is a federal country, just like India is, and we work very closely with our provincial partners. And we have with us today our representative from Alberta. If you could just, Rahul, just wave your hand there. And from Amit from Ontario. And of course, La Belle Provence. We have two representatives, Charles and Mitali. And there we go, sorry. So I just wanted to introduce you to those folks because they're very active in the Indian market and support their companies from their provinces. Alberta, of course, we just talked about energy and Canada being kind of an energy superpower. Well, a lot of that traditional energy comes from Alberta, but there's a lot of technology from Ontario and Quebec as well. This panel is really about talking about the infrastructure, and I mentioned in my opening remarks that infrastructure and the building out of India's infrastructure is extremely important. The companies that are represented here today are all playing a role in that. We have, in the order that I have here, Sanjay Deshpande represents Clearford. Clearford, he will tell you a little bit about, but they're in the water management space. Vinay Shetty with Canadian Solar. We heard a little bit about the solar sector. Bharat Gala with SNC Lavalin, one of Canada's, well, probably Canada's premier engineering firm, heavily involved in energy and infrastructure. Harsh Dringa, who represents Bombardier Rail, builders of trains that run in virtually every country in the world. And finally, we have Sumit Kundu, who is with Linamar, and Linamar is in the auto sector. And how does that fit into infrastructure? Well, the roads that SNC Lavalin build have to have cars running on them, and Linamar is in the auto sector. So that's how we kind of brought that together. Just to start off, though, perhaps I could start with Sanjay and just tell us a little bit about your company and how you've come into the Indian market, and picking up on our themes, how you're trying to showcase Canadian quality and innovation.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Clearford is a rather unusual company. We have a technology that allows you to collect, transport, and treat sewage in just about any condition. Now, why that's important is, for example, take Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is #1 in India for having the most homes connected to sewer networks. That's 40%. The #2 state is at 20%, and then it gets worse from there. Now, why is it stuck at 40%? It's because once you get to the rest of it, you're talking about rural villages, small towns, isolated communities. And those are very difficult to connect sewer networks to. It's an expensive job. Anybody who's experienced a sewer network being put in, the roads are dug up for long stretches, huge pipes, huge treatment plants, just can't be done. We have a technology that is decentralized. It allows you, irregardless of how much water you're supplying, it could be as low as 20 liters per person per day or 300 liters per person per day. We can collect it, take care of the organic load, and transport the liquid to a treatment facility. That gives you the advantage that, well, we are all stressed for water everywhere in India. Take this year, Maharashtra is not going to give water to Karnataka because Maharashtra has no water. Karnataka will probably have the same problem giving to Tamil Nadu. So it's an effect from this bad monsoon. If we could treat the wastewater that we're using every day and generating, that's a huge additional quantum of water available for irrigation, for example. And that helps. Thank you.
Great. Harsh, maybe as one of the long-term investors in India, could you tell us a little bit about Bombardier and the role you're playing and what you're doing to drive quality in your products?
Sure, Brian. I think first, for all to know about Bombardier, Bombardier is in India for about 15 years now. And we have two manufacturing setup in the state of Gujarat. We are the company who has provided the technology to Indian Railways for the locomotives, and we now supply the components for those locomotives to Indian Railways. In 2007, we had made a major investment again in the state of Gujarat for setting up the metro car manufacturing facilities. And this was done primarily because of the reason that Delhi Metro awarded a contract to us with a condition that the cars have to be manufactured in India. And that is the time a decision was taken by Bombardier to second investment in India for setting up these facilities. And these facilities, which came up in a record time of 18 months, we started delivering those cars from our Gujarat facilities. Now, looking at the opportunities which comes for Bombardier Transportation, which is number one in the field of transportation all over the world, is that majority of the infrastructure development which is taking place in India is in the field of railways as well as metros. Today, if you see, Indian Railways is talking about huge investment which is required for technological upgradation in the field of rolling stock, which includes locomotives, which includes the coaches, EMU trains, and also advanced signaling system where they can increase the speed on the existing network. And similarly, Ministry of Urban Development is insisting that any city with a population of more than 20 lakhs should have their own urban transit system. That means the solution which is available from Bombardier side as a transport solution, we can supply the conventional metros, we can supply the heavy metros, we can supply the monorails, LRVs and trams, which are well suited for the cities of Indian size of any city more than 20 lakhs. Now the question that is being asked is that is the investment that goes in these kind of activities is right, or the state government have right level of funds to invest in this? Delhi Metro, when it started in 1995, nobody thought that in the span of 15 years they will almost have 250 kilometers of metro running. Chennai Metro also started about 8-9 years back, and today I think they have already started the operations. Same is the case with Bangalore. Over a period of time, I think majority of the cities in India will have this kind of a requirement which generates through the metros, because the state municipal will have to have a transit system on the rails which is required for this. So as far as Bombardier is concerned, we are looking at these opportunities. Today we are number one player in Delhi Metro. We have supplied over 600 cars. We have done almost 50% of the signaling system in Delhi. And now all these opportunities which come in other cities, especially in Tamil Nadu, if I say, Chennai has a plan of setting up a monorail lines. Coimbatore also has a plan of setting up a monorail line. Chennai also has a plan of expansion of metro. All this gives an opportunity for a company like Bombardier to invest further in India, to set up, either expand the existing base or set up the new manufacturing facilities depending on the need of the requirement of the cities. Right, Brian?
Great, thank you. Bharat, SNC has been in India for quite some time. Maybe you could just explain some of the things that you're now doing and focusing on in terms of infrastructure build-out, and I think also in the energy space.
Yeah. So thanks, Brian. First of all, I actually appreciate the effort goes in from the Trade Commission to support us. As an organization, I think we've used them tremendously and have been very, very successful with it. SNC-Lavalin in India has been there for a long time. We came here for a Bravo project. We struggled a bit with the compliance and the issues we had then, and we have moved on since. Currently, what we do in India really is mostly focused on smart cities. We are trying to get piece of it purely from the planning commission stage. We are already in the making of how we integrate into some of the solutions that need to be provided for the cities. SNC-Lavalin in India has already invested quite a bit of money. Even in today's numbers, we are close to about $300 million all put together. We are in water projects in Odisha, in Gujarat. We've not done much in Tamil Nadu yet, but we would like to penetrate more in that zone. In terms of oil and gas, this is another big area for us. We believe that there is still a lot of potential here for us to grow by way of actually, we have been supplying skids to ONGC for over 20 years now. This is a technology which is for sulfur emission and several other pieces on the gas wellheads. Most of you know that SNC does a lot of shale gas in Canada, and part of that mission is to bring a lot of that asset into India as well. So in brief, I think our focus is three areas. One, I didn't touch base yet on nuclear. As most of you may know, India is looking at nuclear for quite some years. Again, everyone wants 24/7, and people believe that's the best way to go. For India, we do have CANDO technology, which was pioneered in Canada. It is pretty much SNC now, and we are promoting that technology, though we have some issues with compliance here in terms of how we will manage the projects. Barring that, we are in water, and like I said, smart cities is something that we look forward to. So.
Great, thanks. And Sumit, maybe I could ask you, Linamar is a relatively newcomer in terms of investment, but perhaps you could just tell a little bit about what Linamar is doing and some of your experiences with investing here and how you're driving quality and innovation in the auto sector.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brian. Linamar is in India since August 2013. We are there in India for the last 2 years now. Linamar globally is doing business with Ford, GM in a big way. It started from Golf. It has 23 plants today, and we are almost like $4.2 billion company. And the main focus has been into machining and assembly of the automotive parts. When I talk about automotive parts, then we are taking care of the engine parts like cylinder, block, head, camshaft, con rod. And on the transmission side, we make the gears, the hub sleeves. We only don't assemble the gearbox because we don't want to get into the shoes of the OEMs. And on the driveline sides, we have our own products. Having said that we are into machining and assembly, hence it has become very important for us to be process innovative and the product innovative. Because on the process innovation side, the end customers, the OEMs, they always look forward for the productivity benefits. And hence, Linamar has always been working into systems to build up the processes so that it can continuously be giving benefits to the end customers. With the same philosophy, we came in India. Today, we are having a program from GM, is for their Cadillac vehicles. It is an exporting out to them. And the second program is for the Ford, is a design to manufacture his own, Linamar's own design. And we would be supplying this product to the Ford India at the same time, 3 other locations like Dagenham engine plant and South Africa and Argentina. And hence, Linamar is in India creating a footprint with the process innovations and product innovations, and we look forward that Indian market has started respecting the concept like cost of ownership rather than just the product, because the price is important, but at the same time, the cost of the ownership is extremely important, because we are talking about, say, parts or products which is going into an engine or a vehicle which is going to be there on the road for 7 years or 10 years or 15 years, and hence it has become extremely important to be giving a quality product where the customers will be having a headache-free operations. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you. And finally, Sumit, Canadian Solar, probably supplying products into the market for a while, but now you're looking at assembling and investing quite heavily in India. Can you tell us a little bit about your plans and projects for the Indian market?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brian. A warm morning to everyone. Just to give you a brief about Canadian Solar, we are a 14-year-old company based out of Guelph in Canada. We have a 500 megawatt module assembly plant in Canada. And we have a large manufacturing base in China. We started in India in 2012, essentially as a module supplier to solar projects into India. And today, I think by the end of 2015, we would have a 1 gigawatt installation base in India, which would be by far the largest so far in India. To stress on our success stories today, we would be having an installation base in Tamil Nadu to the extent of, I think, 400 odd megawatts by the end of March of 2016. Going forward, we see India as a big market for solar. All of you would have heard a lot of news from Prime Minister Modi and renewable energy offices in India. So we also are extremely aggressive into this space. We are looking at primarily two opportunities in India. One is project development, which offers a great opportunity to build projects in India. And when I mean projects, I mean really large ones that we do typically in the US or Europe. They typically scale to 500 megawatts, 600 megawatts kind of projects. The second thing, what we are looking at, and we have been looking at this space for the last 3 years, we have not been able to find a solution on how to get inside this, and this is manufacturing of solar panels and cells. Now, looks very easy, but is not so easy, and it needs a lot of support from the government in terms of infrastructure, in terms of water availability, not just availability of water, but also disposal of water, which is a big issue in India.